Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Patrick here at VectorVest, and I've got a brand new update getting everybody excited for the 2-week countdown starting from today for the GME shareholder meeting that's coming up on June 9th. We're going to be taking a look today at the chart of GME and going over the analysis that we've seen over the last 4 months or so throughout this crazy ride that has become the GME saga. And we're going to take a technical perspective on the chart, but before we do that, as always, don't forget to buy, vote, and hold. If you're a GME bag holder, if you're an ape ready to go to the moon, make sure, as always, to buy, hold, and vote. It's the easiest thing you can do. Like Warren Buffett says, the best way to make money in the market is to buy and hold, and that's exactly what these diamond hands are doing right now with the GameStop trade. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the chart here today. So right now you can see we've been holding those levels that a lot of people thought were unattainable here with GameStop, and we're actually trading above 190. It's been a while. I know 170 was a hard road to get above, and then especially when we hit 180, that was definitely a hard level of resistance to get above, but we've been struggling the last few days. Today we blasted off, moving up higher. Really nice pattern that we've seen so far. And now trading $10 above that 180 wall that we've been seeing at 190. So with that, let's go ahead. Take a quick look at what we see here. So I'm going to use some of the drawing tools here we have with VectorVest to help us get a better idea of what we're looking at. So first and foremost, I'm going to go ahead to the upper left-hand corner, change it from horizontal line to a freehand line, and just simply draw this nice trend line that we've been seeing over the last few months here. Every time, starting from last earnings announcement till now, we have hit this trend line and bounced right back above that and continue to stay in a nice upward trend over the last few months. So as you can see, yes, we did break down below. I'll just zoom in real quick. Take off the freehand line, zoom in. You can see we did break down there at the 10th of May, but got a green candle, so no follow through the next day. Pretty much a doji the next, showing some indecision, and then right back above. So even though you break down below a trend line, that doesn't mean we should all be worried and we should all go running for the hills. Whenever you see a breakdown of a trend line, that just simply means that you need to pay closer attention and wait for that follow through. If you don't get follow through the next day, then that voids out that breakdown, and that tells you should be able to give it a little bit more time to develop to see what really comes out of it. So we've seen that. We've seen the price holding that trend line really nicely. And then one other thing that we've noticed, and a lot of people have been talking about the wedge that's been forming with GME. I know I've talked about it in a few of the videos previously. But if we connect these highs here, we can see that that wedge has been broken overall, and we're finally starting to trade out of that wedge, sticking to that upward or the lower part of the trend line or the lower part of the wedge, and now moving up, getting some nice momentum on a short-term basis as well. But now that that's no longer in play, obviously take it off because we see what's happening as of today. Also, taking a look at some of the indicators I have here. Below there, I have the DPO or the detrended price oscillator. It's a great momentum indicator. And above one shows short-term momentum to the upside. Below one just shows short-term momentum to the downside. Below that, I have the stochastic oscillator, which is a great overbought, oversold indicator. Now, there's two key levels you always want to focus on, and that is the level of 80, which tends to show an overbought territory, and the level of 20, which tends to show an oversold territory. As you can see right now, GameStop has been bumping up against that level of 80, telling us that it's getting towards that overbought situation, but anybody who is new to stochastics should not be fearful of this, because when you see stochastics above 80, know that they can stay in that territory for quite some time. Just because it gets to that overbought territory doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means to be a little bit more patient with it, or a little bit more focused with it, that you keep a closer eye on it in case something does happen. But just because it's in that level doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Just means it's an overbought on a short-term basis, but it can stay in that level for quite some time. And then the third indicator that I have here today is the MACD. The MACD stands for the Moving Average Convergence Divergence, and it's a great short-term or even long-term. There's a lot of different ways you can use MACD, but it's a great indicator to show which way the stock is starting to move and show new trends starting to form as well. Well, let's go ahead and zoom in over the last few days that we've had with GameStop. Give me 1 second. Let me turn off that freehand line again. There we go. As you can see, the MACD has finally started turning into positive territory right as we came back above that trend line, holding that trend once again. And the MACD is continuing to strengthen, which is a really, really good sign, especially if you're bullish on GameStop. If we zoom back out and then go ahead and zoom in right here to the big run up that everybody remembers from back in January, we can see, let's just zoom in a little bit more. GameStop, the MACD was negative for a while, and then here on the 13th of January is when we finally saw the MACD go into positive territory, and then as we know, it gave that big run up that we saw coming into the end of January as well. So now, as you can see, GameStop's now at almost 193 again, hit a high, I believe, about 195 already earlier this morning. So hopefully we can see that momentum picking up and continuing to strengthen. And everything's looking good. You know, this is the easiest way to make money is to buy and hold, just like Warren Buffett once said. And that's exactly what these people are doing. You know, there's a lot of news articles saying these people are speculating and that this is the dumb money coming in. But in actuality, we're doing the exact opposite of what the mainstream media is trying to accuse investors of. We're not trying to chase the most recent trend or chase this and chase that based off the headlines. There's a hyper-rational decision being made behind GameStop because of all the information that's come out based upon the great community behind this stock and on the subreddits over on Reddit. There is so much positivity that's come from this, and I love seeing it. Glad to be part of it. And so today is more just like basically getting excited for the next 2 weeks as we come across that and hopefully finally get some information on how many shares are actually out there based upon the votes coming out. Also, as a side note, we did just start a second channel for our live content. So click on the link in the description of today's video. Go subscribe to that channel if you're not already subscribed. If you want to keep up to date with not only the content here, but also all the live content we have planned to come out down the line or come out very soon in the future. So getting back into GameStop though, everything's looking pretty good. Remember, all you have to do is buy, vote, and hold, and that's really as hard as this trade needs to be. From a technical perspective, things are looking good. That trend line over the last 3 months or so is holding nicely, and all the indicators are starting to line up, showing new short-term momentum building. And for everybody that's going to be coming into the comments saying, oh, it's a $10 stock, they don't think the stock can really be justified at this price level, do your research. Go check out some of the other videos I've done. I will continue to hold. I like this stock. I like the research that the GME community has brought forth and feel pretty strongly about this. So if you guys are still holding on to GME, if you guys are excited about the shareholder meeting coming up in June, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's talk in the comments. Let's get excited for that shareholder meeting coming up in less than 2 weeks now. So until next time, take care, adios, toodles.
Yeah.